Hello, and welcome to our thoughts on the latest episode of Doctor Who, The Eaters of Light. We'll be starting off with my thoughts first this week. I quite liked this week's episode.
It's a pattern.
Well, I didn't have a major issue with it. It's dealing with the basic opening to it is it's dealing with the big mystery of the disappearance of the Ninth Legion. If memory serves, it was a children's book, or a book that was aimed at school children to do with the Ninth Legion. For those of you who don't know, the Ninth Legion was a legion of Roman soldiers sent to Scotland that disappeared seemingly without trace, and it's one of those weird sort of mysteries that have baffled history. And as Doctor Who has a habit of doing, sort of going back and sort of explaining and providing a Doctor Who explanation as to why or how it happened. But we also got to deal with a great big monstery thing, which is quite nice. Which wasn't given a name, to be fair. Was it interdimensional or extra-dimensional?
It was a big thing with tentacles.
It was a big thing with tentacles that literally ate light. As the Doctor put it himself, it's sort of a light-eating locust. I liked the episode in itself. I didn't have any major issues with it. I won't say it's a standout episode, though, again. I like some of the ideas it looked at, the whole nature of it's two people at war, one of whom is an invader. But as soon as it had that scene when the Ninth Legion and I think they can give their Picts.
They're Picts, I believe.
Yeah, when they actually met and they could understand each other, thanks to the Doctor. It's also actually this episode seems to be the first one that Bill has ever questioned, "How can you understand me?"
She did that thing that really annoys me, where it feels like she read the Doctor Who wiki.
Yeah.
I'm like, you just read the wiki. And,
to be fair, she's had moments like that before.
Yeah, no, the early episodes annoyed me as well. It's just like, okay, she's special if we get it. We had it with Clara. And,
but it's also it's because it's never happened this late in the series that a companion sort of...
Has she come across anyone who would inherently, appear in the future, but we'll see me talk in English?
I'm just trying to think of that.
You could argue the Ice Warriors, but the Victorians won't question how they can understand the Ice Warriors.
Yeah, that's true as well. Yeah, this is really the first moment where she's gone far enough into the past or dealt... Because generally it's always been human civilizations, though, as well, when they've gone into the future. So, yeah, up until the point, she's never had a reason to question how someone could understand her. And she puts two and two together, which provides the exposition moment of course it's going to be like this. Though I do agree, part of it is kind of, as watchers of the show, do we need the exposition when we know it happens all the time? At the same time, you might have new people who aren't aware of the feature.
They're onto you. I hear a siren in the background.
Yeah.
They're onto the SMP are onto you.
Stop it. I quite liked the scene that Bill had as well with the Romans when we had that nice repeat moment of Bill having to explain that she's only into girls. And her thinking, it's a very modern idea.
No, ancient Greece.
I know, that's what...
this idea of... lesbians have been around for fucking ages.
Yeah, I know.
And generally, throughout history and throughout homophobic cultures, lesbians are way more accepted than gay men are.
Yeah. I was speaking to my mum about it, because
you even see it in media to this day. If they want a gay character, they'll generally do a lesbian. Because, one, you get the gay and the female, and also it will be more accepted.
That is actually very true. You're not wrong there. Generally, they seem
nothing wrong with lesbians, but it is the easier way to do it.
You are right. People, I can't.
Two women kissing is like hey. Two men kissing is like ew.
Yeah, I can't explain why that seems to be that difference. Is it a different? Is that literally a way?
Two women kissing is too fair. Two lot of girls. I know two girls write yaoi fan fiction online about two men making out. It's this weird thing where men write lots of things about lesbians, women write a lot of things about gay. It's a weird thing to do with how, but yeah, if you're going to go through male-dominated media, lesbians are like double the fan service for men.
Done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just saying.
No, I do. I quite like that scene because again, it's sort of it's a thing that, as you said about ancient Greece just then. People tend to forget that the ancient civilizations had a very different view on
not saying Christianity generally, but Abrahamic religions that have been puritanical views about sex that come from Abrahamic religions.
When I did classical civilizations at school, the main thing one of the things we looked at, because we looked at society for ancient Greece and ancient Rome, I was only the year that I did it. We only looked at ancient Greece. I didn't get the opportunity to look at Rome. But the general attitude to
Rome's
society.
Just Greece with all the names changed.
It is largely. But the general attitude was women. The reason you'd have sex with women is to have children, and you'd have sex with men for fun. Mm-hmm. That was kind of the attitude. It wasn't like the hard, fast rule, but it was the idea of it happens. And but part of it, I kind of like that moment, sort of the idea of because as Building said, that's a very modern idea. It's not really.
Favourite lines when he turned to her and went, "Someone as restricted as you." I was like,
"Yeah, I like
the lesbian is now restricted." I went, "That's hilarious."
That's a
I can see certain corners of the internet getting slightly angry about that.
You can see the logic a little bit for it, though.
It's idea
particularly for the idea of Rome thinks of itself as this great sort of cosmopolitan type thing, because what Rome, like with all empire builders, they take the bits of nations
That's my
and they
favourite line as well. They burn everything. I was like, yeah, I think empires are made. A lot of burning things as well.
It's horrific, and I do.
Very rarely are invading armies like, "Hey, we're here to help." They're there to conquer.
Well, even then, if they do come to help, that's the way of getting in. But things won't stay the same. As you very rarely do get empire builders that assimilate, like the Borg. Or if you want to go for a 40k reference,
you could argue the Borg's not pleasant either. That's not.
No, the Borg isn't
fun
either.
Time.
But you don't get, and like you said, empires don't tend to be made for the idea of like we assimilate culture, and things are exactly the same because things fundamentally have to change because you're being controlled by someone that you weren't. So there's always a change to the system. But that's moving on to the politics of empire.
Watch out when you leave, they don't burn anything on the way out.
Yeah, the episode was good. I liked the way they had characters and the various relationships when you got looks into them.
Cornelius, never forget.
Cornelius. Victus.
I just remember Cornelius. That's like
and of course our gatekeeper, Car.
Car.
Which explains why ravens say that now.
Yes. Although me and my mum both had moments when we heard the ravens going, did that raven say bastard?
No, I said master.
No, but every time you think it heard it said, it sounds like both me and my mum had moments where that sounded like bastard. That's the way it was.
Well, it took me a moment because it was saying doctor.
Yeah.
And then a part of me thought afterwards, it says, hang on, did it just say master? And a part of me was wondering, why is it saying master? So I thought we might have had Johnson appear in this week's.
Well, he did appear in the trade.
We'll get to that one in a minute. Because we're still discussing this week's episode. No, I liked the episode. It wasn't. I wouldn't call it a standout one for me, but given that
it felt kind of slow at the beginning. I went, we're still in this fucking cave.
It was a slow beginning,
and then when the monster went, yeah, we missed the battle. Oh, come on, we missed the massacre.
I did like some of the lines as well. The idea of it's damp. Scotland is supposed to be damp.
Death by sunlight. It says death by Scotland.
Scotland. I like that. No, but the episode wasn't a bad one. You're right, it was a bit of a slow burn to begin with, though. But equally, what you had here was rather than sort of, there's a villain you have to defeat, it's more, there's a big monster, we've got to stop it. Which tend to be slightly slower ones because you're not having to sort of outthink or defeat an enemy in the sense that someone's going to do something to trigger something. The thing is the sort of a non-sentient disaster that you need to prevent from happening, which are usually slower events as a result of it. But it provided the explanation of what happened to the Ninth Legion, which is quite nice. It was a very noble exit for them. I'm just trying to think of anything else I thought during the episode.
Scotland was very grey, but again, it's Scotland, which you expect.
It was well light and dark though as well, which is quite nice. The whole idea that when there's a big it's the whole nature of when there's a big threat, you put aside mutual differences to work together to go against the greater enemy, which is quite nice.
Then when you've beaten the enemy and the enemy's got the back turned, you stab him in the back to make sure you win. First rule of warfare.
It's not a rule of peace, is it?
Peace. Peace is just the intermissionary period between wars. It's the transitional stage.
Vote Sean.
We'll make America great again properly, and we'll invade. We'll invade. Or as I call it, taking it back.
You take back.
We're taking it back.
Take back control.
To bring the French, the Dutch, and whoever else had colonies in America. It wasn't just England.
Spanish.
Spanish.
Are we just talking North America?
Yeah, North America.
That will be the English, the Spanish, the French. The Dutch. Briefly, we bought the Dutch out. Well, yeah,
they had one field in Kansas. And,
No. Well, we know where the Dutch had. The Dutch had a fair bit of New England, including New York, and we bought it from them by giving up some of the Spice Islands.
Bought New York.
Well, New York was originally New Amsterdam.
It'd been way more interesting if it was Amsterdam.
That's what it was originally.
New Amsterdam now with even more weed.
I mean, that's why even the name Roosevelt comes from a Dutch root. Field of Roses. Roosevelt. But yes, what did you think of this week's episode? I've exhausted pretty much all my thoughts for the moment.
I liked it. I liked the monster. You didn't really get a good look at it until right at the end, but I liked the monster and its tentacles. And the way I liked the Romans. They were very young. Like younger 18, but it wasn't that young back in the day.
No, that is true.
18 minutes. Getting on a bit. I like the Picts, if they were Picts. I think they were Picts.
I think they were. If they weren't, we apologise, but as far as we're aware, that's what they were.
We apologise to all those Picts out there.
Historians might care.
I like Car and her brother. Was it her brother? The other one?
Yeah, it was her brother.
Yeah, I think it was her brother. And Nardole going native.
I like Nardo. I like Nardo's first appearances in a dressing gown.
I was like, are we Arthur Dent in this?
Yeah, but my immediate thought was, this is very Hitchhikers.
It is very Hitchhikers. He just goes like, what's
And
he
he's got
doing?
the popcorn.
Yeah, I just love that bit of popcorn. I went, that's some bloody explosive popcorn. Hit the ceiling. I'm like, Jesus. I've never done
If I
popcorn.
threw it into an open fire,
Yeah.
I don't know what popcorn does when you throw it into an open fire.
I know it does in the microwave. It makes the bag expand, but I've never actually done it on a fire.
No.
I've done it in the microwave, microwavable bag. Because I can't be able to probably. But yeah, I liked it. It was very slightly slow at the beginning, and it was kind of great, but probably not memorable.
Yeah,
is how
I'd
I
agree
would
with
say.
that.
It's not. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing massively wrong with it. But you're not going to be like, I'm going to remember that episode.
No.
You're like,
There'll be bits of
yeah,
it.
that one with the Romans. And where
There'll
was
be bits of
Rory?
it that we
And
remember.
where was
the moments
Rory?
we've spoken
Romans.
about.
Where was Rory? Romans, god damn it.
Romans were around for quite a while.
I know,
yeah.
but I wanted Rory. I think right. I miss Rory.
Shall I do Mum's thoughts?
Oh yes, Mum's thoughts. Can't forget that.
Mum's immediate thoughts once I got around to actually talking about the episode. No, because immediately we started talking about the teaser for next week, which we'll do in a minute. Her immediate one was, yeah, it was alright. She didn't think it was bad, but she thought it was alright.
Yeah, it's not
Thought it was
a
good.
standout, especially coming after Victorians versus Ice Warriors.
That was a good one. I did like last week's. But again, we've had that seems to be a pattern for this series. It's good episodes, but sometimes they're not particularly memorable. There are moments that stand out in the episode. Like, that's a good moment. But when you look back to the stories, but there are moments you go with,
It's
yeah,
that one, it's that one with the Romans.
yeah, it's that
Again.
one with the Romans.
Again.
Even when we've been talking about some of them, we've said like the ones with the smiley facing robots.
Yeah.
We've got the one in Victorian London with the Thames is frozen,
And there's a giant fish.
the giant fish thing. I'm having trouble remembering some of the episodes, but I know they've not been bad.
I suppose the whole series as a whole has been good, but not. It's ever few.
It's had some really good
You had the
standout
Monks
moments.
3-parter, which I argue was good, okay, slow in parts, and ended on the power of heart. Hey,
I know you hate that cliche, but
power of love won the day. When we're all Care Bears now, are we? Even My Little Pony was vomiting at that point.
Loads of shows go with that story.
I know it
Pokemon
annoys
did,
me
for goodness
every single
sake.
time we do it. But that's a 3. If you say that's one story, the 3-parter.
That's a standout thing because
That's
it's
good.
a huge story.
Yeah,
It's got
the
some really
monks.
great moments. I mean, you really liked Extremis.
Yeah, Extremis.
You really liked Extremis.
Because it was creepy. And had the Pope randomly showing up out of nowhere.
That was
Speaking
funny.
Italian and not translating. Which we never did get an answer for why that.
No, actually, you're right. That's the only moment which would
Why
explain
is-
that.
why
Which
is-
would explain all the more then of why Bill is confused.
Yeah, but why didn't it? Was like, the Pope better not
I
translate.
have no idea.
It's like, Or just the Italians just really not like Catholics. They translate all the cardinals. Who I assume speak Italian. I don't know.
They might have been. I think some of them actually speaking English.
Yeah, but it's like, why not the Pope? Did you go? I better not. That's the Pope.
No idea. But well, we know from a writing perspective it's for comic effect.
Well, yeah, it's that.
But an in-universe explanation, I don't. Off the top of my head, I don't know. I've not looked into it though either, so I suspect there might be an explanation that's appeared because someone's asked them.
Stephen Moffat went, oops. Or you can have the comic effects. It's fun. Italian's funny when said rapidly. And it's the Pope. It makes it even funnier. But that was good. What else we got? No. You like the David Suchet one.
I did like the David Suchet one. I did like them. Knock Knock, I thought was really.
I thought that was good because of David Suchet.
He made. If
David Suchet wasn't in that episode, it was someone other.
Bits of it would stick with me. I think the revelation at the end of it that he is was it Elizabeth? I think it was Elizabeth's son, not her father. That just sort of pulled on my heartstrings, which means it had a strong emotional reaction from me, which is why I think I go back to the episode because it had a powerful reaction for me. I liked it for that moment. I think David Suchet is a brilliant actor. It's difficult to say if I'd like it if it was an actor playing the part because I don't know how they'd play the part. What else have we had?
Oxygen, which I liked, but I mean it's not the start of the episode. I just liked it.
Yeah, I liked
it. Was in space.
Oxygen, but I found Oxygen to be a slow burn.
Oh.
It was a slow-moving episode, and I like what they did with it. And I like a lot of it, but a lot of the episode doesn't really sort of stand out to me. I'm having to think about it to remember.
I'll admit it's not sounds like the atmosphere of it, because I like space and.
Oh yeah, the atmosphere was really good. I think it's a good episode, but it's not standout.
Yeah, not standout. Extremely, you've done that. Empress of Mars.
I liked Empress.
That will probably be sad because it's got the Ice Warriors in it.
Yeah, classic.
It's like if these Daleks are in an episode. It's gonna be. It's the Daleks, and it's really. It's Daleks in Manhattan bad. But that stands out for very different reasons, though.
Yeah, that's a different one entirely. Yeah. Which, if we're talking about classic monsters and returning, I think will lead us on to next week then.
Right, John Simm's back.
Yeah, John Simm's
classic,
back. So we know he's returning, and we know it's not just that one shot now as well.
Yeah, different shot. We need these 2 shots of infants. No dialogue, but 2 shots. And
some dialogue.
Okay, I'll say something.
I'm very excited.
Is this 1970 or whatever year Life on Mars is in? I can't remember the exact year. Whatever year Life on Mars. I can't remember the exact year Life on Mars was set in.
It's 1970s. I know that.
Yeah,
much.
it's 70s. I know.
73.
Can't remember. I watched it. I got the box set instead. He's looking at it now. But yeah, that's the first line. No, wrong show, John. We're in Doctor Who.
Yeah, 73.
Okay. So yeah, we'll move into the return of John Sim. That's the big thing everyone's excited about for the next episode.
I'm not. I'm looking forward to it, don't get me wrong, but that's not the big hook for me. The big hook is my boys are back.
And Missy's in charge.
Yes, that's a very interesting.
That's gonna end well.
I love how she referred to
my disposables.
My disposables.
Yeah. There's the meat shield.
Because the whole nature of it is this is a test, really, to see if she has gone good. Because we had that moment. She even my mum doesn't trust her. I don't trust her.
And if you're writing the master properly, you shouldn't fucking trust him.
No, you shouldn't.
Her, him, whoever, and
shouldn't trust
them, and any of them you shouldn't trust.
No, but the bit I'm more interested in for next week is it's the return.
It's the finale. That is always an interesting thing.
It's the finale. It's the return since the classic series of the Mondasian Cybermen, which I'm so looking forward to because by the looks of it,
the budget ran out when they were making the costumes.
No, by the looks...
If you're doing this authentic, they should have no budget on making those costumes.
I'm looking forward to when we hear them speak.
Yeah, I want him so if they do the creepy.
The original voices are terrifying. But the main bit I'm looking forward to, or finding out if it's true, because just my mind was suddenly racing when I saw the trailer for it. I think this might be the birth of the Cybermen.
Birth?
Because it looks like, when you saw all the people there, they've all got IV drips, they all seem to be in hospital gowns, they've got large parts of the body covered up, including their faces, and the whole point of Cybermen is the idea of everything's been replaced artificially. The Picts World Parallel Universe Cybermen, that idea is sort of looks at, well, they're not been replaced. They're robot bodies with a human brain implanted. The idea is like SIM cards. That was the thing that Russell T Davies did as a modern reinvention of the classic Cybermen. The original Cybermen were created, the concept, the idea of artificial replacement of limbs, organs, all that kind of thing. Which is what it was. It's sort of addiction to surgery and replacing everything. The whole nature of Cybermen is they are constantly looking to improve themselves. Which is complete opposite to Daleks, because Daleks believe they are perfection, which is why the design for the Daleks has never changed from the classic image. Aesthetics might change, but because the whole idea is they already believe they're perfect. They don't need to change anything. They've got the perfect design. Cybermen constantly reinventing and redesigning themselves because they need to. Because they feel they have to. They're always looking to improve themselves. But I think we might be seeing, because it's a 400-mile long ship, did the Doctor say?
Yeah, something like that.
A part of me think, and we saw Mondas appear, so I don't know if they're being pursued or if the ship left from
Mondas. It's going
Mondas.
backwards out of a gravitational black hole.
Yeah, it's backing away from a black hole.
Right.
And a part of me is thinking of, is this of a hospital ship? Because we know that the story of Mondas, which was the first time, which was also the regeneration. The 10th Planet, as the episode was called, the first time we met the Cybermen, was also the last episode with William Hartnell's Doctor, which is quite nice and poetic for it to be not the final episode, but the final episode from the series with Peter Capaldi.
You know he's not regenerating too.
He won't be regenerating until Christmas. But it's his last series, because the Christmas episode includes it. But still, I know they're also his favourite. They're also his favourite monster, his favourite villain from Doctor Who, which I'm looking forward to. But the planet returns because Mondas returns back to Earth. Because the thing is, Mondas is Earth's twin.
Saves on the budget.
But I'm very excited by it. I'm really looking forward to it. And we've got another Blue Man.
Yes, another Blue Man group. They call it Blue Man group.
There's a lot I'm excited about for next week.
Watch that get shot in the foot on it.
Don't say that.
Always be cautious of hype.
Well, I'm building the hype. I know I'm cautious about it. I'm looking forward to it.
Season finale and Stephen Moffat. Just keep those in mind.
Moffat's all right for finales.
So yeah, that's all that happened in that. Apparently, you saw John Sim. Missy's got a hat on and has disposables.
Yep.
Which sounds slightly dirty now. I say it out loud. Blue Man Group.
Cybermen. Original Cybermen at that as well.
Cyber people. We're being PC now.
No, they're called Cybermen. That's a trademark name.
Yeah, trademark name.
It is trademarked.
What about Cyber-Man?
Probably
because I know Mega Man got away with Aquaman by making it two separate words. Aqua and Man, totally different now.
Legally, yeah.
It's like the word superhero is owned in copyright by both Marvel and DC.
Yeah.
And the word droid is Star Wars, which is Disney now, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's next week with World Enough and Time. World Enough and Time. I don't get that. I'm assuming there's a joke in there somewhere. World Enough and Time. And then
it's a weird title.
It's like, I can't think of any play on words, is it?
Unless it's the names of something.
Yeah. And then with Dr. Fools. He trips.
Yeah.
And then the Christmas special. Which is just TBA.
Well, they don't tend to announce the name of it until a lot nearer the time. It'll probably be some point over the summer as well we find out who the new Doctor is.
Will it be Chris Marshall? Or it'll be a waste of... I mean, if it is Chris Marshall now, it'll be really disappointing.
Yeah, it's the thing of, alright, it's been confirmed.
Why didn't you confirm it earlier? Since we were all saying that. If they're holding out, you put it's just not. So that's why they're holding out. Or they haven't got one yet.
No, they've announced. Russell T Davies, I saw an article, think that the role has been cast. They have cast the Doctor. So they know who it is. And I suspect we'll find out in the next couple of months.
Who it is.
Yeah, they do a big reveal for it, and then we'll have to do a follow-up, sort of our thoughts on it. When that happens, God knows.
God knows when it'll happen.
Well, I'm presuming the BBC will know. Because they're the ones who will make the announcement.
Yeah. Too much competence in the BBC. Yeah, that's all this week. I think we've come to a...
Yeah, we've come to a natural conclusion there. And, for once, we haven't gone off topic.
No. We should start the topic now.
No, it's too late. We're finishing
heat.
here.
Man, this heat.
We're finishing
Talk
here.
about the weather, the epitome of...
So, join us next week for our thoughts on World Enough and Time.
You had to say it slowly, though.
Yeah, I did, because I'm thinking if that's a weird title.
It's an odd title.
Right, so join us next week for the oddly titled Part 1.
That should be the name of it, the oddly titled
Oddly titled. Well, that's
Revenge of
like
the Oddly Titled.
The Revenge of the Oddly Titled. So join us next week for Part 1 of the series finale.